Today we're going to put in the beginning of an herb garden here at Brownsmead. First thing you needed to do was rototill. There's so many gauges and controls and things on this big tractor. It's hard to remember, but got it done. It looks great. Now we're gathering up the supplies to start running the drip tape. Here Scott's putting in the header across the very beginning of the field. This is where all the water will come from. It looks like I need a new tape measure with some better numbers on it. This is Scott putting in the actual valves. This is the main pipe, and so each line, you'll see here in a second, has a valve so we can turn it off, so we only water where we need to water.
Okay.
Little side, out the big side.
And then you fold it 1,
Okay.
2, 3, sometimes 4 times. You squeeze it in there, and you fold it big enough, and it sticks out the end. So at the end of the year, we pull that out with a pair of pliers.
Okay.
And when you get down to the other end, you're going to put this in. You just push this down in, and then all the way down in, and you're just going to wrap an overhead knot over like that. Just tie it tight like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So as I got the lines down to the other end, Scott would actually then hook them right here to the valves so that we'd get water. And it didn't take very long for it to start dripping. So we have all the cilantro to plant. Let's see. That is a 72. So 72 times 3. So somewhere over 200 plants. And we're going to move it all into here. So any guesses on how far we're going to get? These plants came out of the trays really easily, so I could just pull them out. But they do have a special tool that you can use. We often have more than one person helping with this, which makes it go much faster because somebody can be planting while the other person's pulling them out of the tray. I've got the drippers going here so that I can see exactly where the drippers are. I'm going to plant one at each dripper. If the soil is good and been rototilled well, you should be able to just do this with your hands. So then I'm going to go one at the next dripper. And then I'm going to do one right in between, like so. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the dripper. Now, the one bad thing about the drippers already going is now I'm planting a little bit into mud. So as long as you don't mind getting dirty, this is a great way to make sure that things are spaced really nicely. And we're just going to keep doing this exact same thing all the way down. Now, this spot wasn't rototilled well, so I can't use my hands. So I know that that's not a good spot. So I'm just going to skip it and do this, and then continue moving on down the line here. So make sure I've got good soil for these guys to grow into. It's always amazing to me how these little roots can work through so much that even my hands have a struggle with from time to time. Okay, so we'll do that with the dripper continuing to run. They are getting watered in as we speak. And just like that, I went through 12 plants. Here's the 3 rows of cilantro here on the right. Okay, so you'll notice that here is 1 tray of dill, and here are 3 trays of cilantro. So for the cilantro, we were able to do a much tighter spacing. So around 2 drippers, there's actually 6 plants here. For the dill, around 2 drippers, there is only 3 plants, and on the parsley, around each dripper, there is 1 plant. So very different spacing, water needs. It depends on how big they're going to get, how much water they need, whether they're going to be around a long time. Parsley can be a kind of a soft perennial around here. Sometimes the plants will last about 2 years. Dill, it'll grow up. We'll use the seed heads or the weed, and that'll be it. And cilantro, around here, we will plant every 2 weeks because it will tend to bolt quickly. So once it bolts, it will be pulled out and replaced. So it won't be here long term.